Gotta be honest, I can't explain the background of hoo-ha ho-ho, but it is piano, also known as Quebec, also known as rich piano, or hoo-ha ho-ho. He'll have to explain that one. But he's going to be playing as the Force Commander, and he's going to be up against Astartes today, who's going to be rocking the Hive Tyrant on the very large Ashes of Typhon Redux. A map this big, always going to be tricky facing the Tyranids, but hey, at least it's a Hive Tyrant. He's the slowest of the Tyranid hero boys, unlike the Ravener Alpha or the Lictor Alpha. I would not want to be fighting a Ravener Alpha with the tunnel mobility on a map like this. Now that said, even though the map itself is rather large, the actual distance from each player's natural power farm, so here we've got the Tyranid power farm, and the Space Marine power farm here, that distance isn't actually that large, so big blob pushes surrounded by the, well, escorted by the Hive Tyrant, should we say, could be very powerful. Drop Brood Nests down to support those pushes, and get gen bashing right away. Astartes is going to be going for double Hormigaunt build here. I like it on this map. That's going to be helpful. He just needs to be very wary in the mid-game about those grenade spikes from the scouts. But otherwise it's going to be very difficult to deal with all of his melee threats early on. Now we've got a pretty good situation here actually for Piano. Having 3 units available to kite and shoot this Hive Tyrant is going to be pretty effective for him, but obviously he's going to be ceding a lot of map control. We've got the Hormigauts capping down here, we've got Termagants moving to the mid. Looks like the FC's chasing some Hormers here, which is good for him. They can't fight him 1v1, but obviously he's got that very powerful bolt pistol. It will inevitably lead to model losses. Somehow, no models lost on the Hormigaunt squad yet. But now the Termagants are encountered, and they will do pretty good early on against these scouts in a 1-to-1 fight. They're also useful for controlling the Force Commander from a distance. I'm going to see Raveners coming up first for Astartes. Makes sense. Then he'll have 2 units to shoot down the Force Commander. He already has access to Synapse because he's playing the HT. So a lot of the value that you get from your early warriors not going to be generated here necessarily. See if attack model will fall before they get into melee with Termers here. Nope, unlikely. So they're just going to force off these squads here. Attacks in the early game extremely powerful. Powerful not just because of their ability to win fights, but also because they win fights without bleeding models. But here are the Ravs. It's going to be countered by ASM here for Piano. Makes sense. Now you can get the Rending Talons on the Hive Tyrant to counter the counter in the ASM. Be interesting to see what the Force Commander wants to do in this matchup. Okay, we're already getting some upgrades going for the tanky melee armor here, the Artificer armor. I wonder if he'll go for the Iron Halo in Tier 1 as well to make him really tanky. Could do. There's certainly a natural synergy there since you get the increased energy. You see there the combination of the jump from the ASM and the battle cry from the Force Commander. Absolutely no chance there for the Tyranids in melee against those Marines. Map control, all things considered, looking pretty damn good for Piano right now. He's actually ahead in the VPs and he's going to have a 2-to-1 cap for a little bit. Terma's rotating to deal with the Force Commander, going to be able to CP him, crippling poison. But apparently that's too much micro for Astartes right now. Not sure what exactly he's looking at. He finally uses it, but now the Force Commander's in melee and getting range damage resistance. But the Ravenous turn up, so it's alright, he's got more DPS to output. Still not an amazing situation here to deal with these ASM. The Hive Tyrant will go over and fight them. He can 1v1 them quite easily, but they should just jump away and be alright. Oh, beautiful pickup there from Astartes in the middle. Just kills that scout model in time. That's the power of the Raveners. And it looks like over here the Homers did manage to take out one of those attacks and then retreated, only losing 3 Homers themselves. That's very cost effective. And an attempted grenade there we've seen from the scout squad. We've now got the Sarge on both the scout squads, so this is where the grenades are potentially scary. We've got sniper rifles. Okay, yeah, that was a misclick, I guess. There's no warriors, so going sniper rifles seems very, very odd. Especially after getting 2 Sarges first. Typically you get the snipers first. But we'll see. These homers need to be very careful now. If I was Astartes, I see scouts running into my retreat path. You've got to start thinking about macro, not just winning fights. He fucked it. Killed 1 Hormagon. That should have been a lot. I think that could have wiped the squad. That was a really easy to hit retreat grenade, to be honest. I didn't realise the pathing would work like that. Pretty scary. Like I say, you see those scouts running into retreat path, you see them with full energy, you know you got to get out of there. Psychic Scream going to be the soul upgrade here for the Hive Tyrant, so it debuffs the damage of all these guys that were screamed on for a bit. How long does it last? It doesn't tell me. Probably tells you in the tooltip for the Hive Tyrant, but I can't see that, unfortunately. But a nice little bit of kiting going on here. I think Crippling Poison was using the ASM though, so now they don't have it to use on the FC, and that is a nice grenade. Oh god, I hate grenade spiking so much. Ravener's going to retreat out of here. They don't want to risk bleeding a model to the FC, who rightly focuses them down. Yep, needs to get out of there though with the Hormers chopping him up. And they're not going to do good in a 1v1 fight, but when they're free to attack him for a while because he's focusing other threats, and they've got contributions of DPS from the nearby Termagants, then they are a threat. Hormagants are very, very good at retreat killing. You've got to retreat quite early against them, at least relative to their DPS, because of the fact their speed's 6.5. So Tyranids in typical Tyranid fashion are going to be getting to tier 2 first, but not by too long. Piano's not really that far behind, and he's got a pretty good army in terms of scaling. You know, he's got these double scouts with their bolters. He's got a war gear on his FC that scales well. So it's a pretty good situation for Piano, really. You can't really hope for more. He's got a VP lead against the Tyranids, and he hasn't lost any gens. So he's honestly in a really good spot right now. Astartes is going to be going for a Venom Brood first, which I find a little bit odd. He's only got 2 ranged units, and he is ahead in tech. So Piano's now going for sniper rifles. What? Huh. I mean, if we can kill Ravener models, that'd be nice. Ooh, so Astartes finishes, cancels his Venom Brood and goes for warriors. He's going to give them adrenal glands and make them really tanky, and they'll be able to tank a lot of sniper shots. I don't know what to think about this tier 2 sniper rifle play. Why would you not rush Razorback first and then maybe get the sniper rifles? But even forget all that, even that aside, what are the sniper rifles doing exactly that makes them even better than a bolter? Because if you just air move, this happens. Because the sniper rifle has such superior range, it'll shoot, but then you lose all the free DPS from your other bolter dudes. And then the little teardown time and the setup time makes them more immobile, which doesn't seem very good against Tyranids. And then in tier 2, the Tyranids should be spawning a load of Rippers, but Astartes isn't yet doing that. Here comes the first Capillary Tower. And we see some Death Spitters coming out. Ooh. I didn't consider that earlier. Maybe that's what he was doing all along. He wants to rush Death Spitters. That is very, very interesting. Let's see how they do. So Death Spitters are Inferno DPS ranged weapons here for the Venom Brood, but they forego your ability to get ranged Synapse, and of course they remove all the AV potential out of the Venom Brood as well. So it would seem to me to be a bit of a no-brainer right now to purchase a Razorback, because the only AV is the Warrior Brood. But the thing is, you're against a Hive Tyrant, so you could get the Venom Cannon of the Hive Tyrant, which would be a smart idea. Ripper's going to be spawned in here and go in and tie up these scouts. I like the play. They could be annoying, you know, they could be chipping away at the Venom, the Warriors, all the Raveners, and you see there the combined Ravener plus Death Spitters. That is some scary, scary damage to these Scouts. Scouts getting melted, they literally die instantly. The attack squad called in from a drop pod here is going to get jumped on by Hormagaunts under melee synapse with Adrenal Gland Warriors, and they're going to rip up that attack squad. I'm going to need to get some plasma guns to be able to contest this. Death Spitters killing that attack nice and fast. I mean, that is what Death Spitters are designed to do. I really have to question Piano's choice to go for double snipers at the start of tier 2. That's very odd. And, you know, it meant he didn't have a Razorback, which then meant that the Death Spitters were kind of free to come out and do their thing. He brought this on himself. Now he's going for double Sergeant. So strange. Yeah, the Nids are just bullying him. Absolutely beating him quite handily in the ranged fight. Now we have had a bit of skirmishing going on here. We've got the Force Commander capping down this side of the map and the Hormagaunts running down the other side, doing a little bit of bashing. So Razorback is being very aggressive right now, and a little bit too aggressive. It's getting hit in melee by the heavy melee Warrior Brood, so they're going to zone it out. The Razorback is choosing to shoot at the Hormagaunts as they're a little bit closer, which is actually alright, because it's easier to lead those Hormagaunts, so it's probably better. Eventually, ultimately, you've got to force off the Warrior Brood, because they're the only thing doing any serious amount of AoE right now. Here comes the Force Commander with his battle cry active. Oh, we got flak from the ASM, who were, what, capping? Yeah, they caught the natural requisition over there on the power on the right side too. So no Sergeant on these boys, but they get the Sergeant soon. Shame they didn't have him a little bit earlier. The power sword that he comes with would have been nice to really hurt the Warrior Brood. We've got a zone for up right here, but it's in a pretty precarious situation, currently getting chopped up by the Force Commander. ASM, however, are very low on HP. Wow, they tank it out. They did lose one model, but the Tyranids are going to flee. No models lost on the Raveners, no models lost at all on the tougher Tyranid forces. And the Rippers are just going to delay the Razorback here. It's going to slowly take him out, which is alright for the Razorback. It will generate a little bit of XP for it. If it can kill them, holy shit, it seems to be missing. There we go, that was weird. Tiny little sliver of XP there. But it all adds up. Get a bit of XP when he takes out this capillary tower as well. Space Marines love that XP because it makes them even tankier. They just get a bit ridiculous to kill then. I've spoke about it before where I've mentioned how the level up bonuses to damage are percentage based, and so the HP increases, so that it's more effective the higher your base HP in the first place, because the percentage increase is the same from getting from level 1 to level 2 to level 3, level 4. Though I believe Tactical Space Marines and all the free model sort of heavy infantry marine things, so we're talking like Raptors, Chaos Raptors, Automalius Interceptors, Automalius Purgation, Strike Squad, CSM, Tax, all these things, they get a bit less HP when they level up compared to other squads. I think other squads at level 4 get 50% more HP, they only get about 33%. And they're already amazing, so they'd be bonkers if they got 50%. It's going to be a beautiful Merciless Strike here. You see there the damage inflicted onto the... what is that? Oh, we got double Hormagaunts? Oh yeah, we had double Hormagaunts the whole time. Holy shit. This is interesting that he's got double zones now to try and put pressure on the Razorback. You see there, the Razorback lost a load of HP. That was from the double zones with their Focus Warp Blast, which does nice spike damage from afar. Plasma Gun making its value known straight away, picks off a Warrior Brood model there. That is the power of the Plasma Gun. But a Brood Nest is going to be spawned here, and I don't really think Piano can push against this. The Focus Warp Blast is going to be... Oh, there you go! I was just going to say it's going to be off cooldown, and he snags that Razorback. This is really cool to see from Astartes. This is one of the things that the Hive Tyrant does really well, because you don't need to go for the Venom Brood with the Venom Cannons to kill the Razorback. These guys, you can't really dodge their attacks, it's a sure hit from a really long distance. But the thing is, it will never kill a Razorback on its own, and that's why they're actually limited to 2, because otherwise, in 3v3s, if you get 4 of them, you can just start one-shotting tanks as soon as they show rear armor. But yeah, that chips the vehicles. Now, typically, you wouldn't expect to kill a Razorback with your double zones. Piano misplayed there. He should have known the zones were still there, and that thing would be off cooldown. He needed more repairs from his scouts before he engaged. But you can then get the Hive Tyrant with a Venom Cannon, and then it doesn't take a lot of shots from your Hive Tyrant Venom Cannon to kill the Razorback once you've chipped it down with the Focus Warp Blast. And the whole value of this is that you get to bring Death Spitters the whole time. So right now, the ASM jumped onto the Death Spitters, they didn't get to jump onto the melee to disrupt them. And sure, they'd have a Merciless Strike, but a Merciless Strike on its own, not going to be enough to deal with this big, fearsome melee blob. Piano is going to be replacing his Razorback, which is okay. Okay, not very much. He's not. Cancelled it. Stern Guard and Plasma Attacks. We've got the Teleporter Pack and a Thunder Hammer here on the Force Commander. That's interesting. I mean, that will certainly be a very effective counter to Tyrannid blobbing. There's not really any great sources of control. We don't have the Tyrant Guard with his immunity to knockback. We do have the Hive Tyrant though, but he doesn't have any good war gears to actually output good DPS. You'll see there that the ASM jumped the zone throw up and knocked it over. That was because the zone throw up was a little bit late on activating its shield. You can counter the knockback with his shield, which is very important with the zone throw ups. Because you got to be careful. If you get knocked over and then melee focuses on you, you might have a bit of trouble. And then you've got another threat when you're retreating that teleport from the Force Commander with a Thunder Hammer. I think it'd take 3 bonks to kill a full HP zone throw up. So if you're not full HP, you got to be very careful. Look at the zone throw ups moulding onto one another's position. That's rather weird. Still no upgrade for the Hive Tyrant, so the Force Commander should be able to win this fight fairly easily. He's very tanky now, the Force Commander. Well, not very tanky. He's got his Artificer and he's level 2, so yeah, you can see he is winning that fight quite handily. Hive Tyrant needs to get an upgrade. He's only doing 50 DPS right now. If he had his Crushing Claws, he'd do literally over double. He'd do 108 DPS. So it's going to be a Dreadnought apparently for Piano. I will be right back. Alright, what have I missed? Not a whole lot. It's just going to be posturing. Posturing for map control. I really like Astartes' use of the Rippers here. So look, we've got the chip damage coming onto the Dreadnought again. So you see it does 150 damage per Focus Warp Blast. Pretty good chip. So 4 of them will actually kill a default Razorback with extra armor. And that's not hitting rear armor. So technically, if you have 2 zone throw ups and the enemy doesn't upgrade their Razorback with more HP, you can kill them instantly by hitting rear armor with a Focus Warp Blast. So a few patches ago, someone was asking why did the snare get removed from the zone throw ups. To be fair, I don't think they did as much damage as they do now with a Focus Warp Blast, but still, it's a sure hit that you can't. There's no counterplay. It's super long range. It's like as long as a screen in range, and it's a sure hit that you can't dodge. It's way too powerful on a faction that has access to so many heavy melee threats. And indeed, we're going to see the Crushing Claws now. Is this another drop pod with tax? Indeed it is. A 3rd Tactical Marine is going to be appearing. So we might reach a critical mass of Plasma. But Astartes is tier 3, and that's important for him because what can't Plasma deal with? Can't deal with vehicle armor, which if you're Tyrannids, you only get in tier 3. So that's the Kind Effects and the Swarm Lord. So that's what we need to start seeing. I really like this chips from the zone throw up. He's playing them quite well, and look at that. Countering the snipers. I don't really feel like the snipers have done anything this game. I like this as well. Look at this. He leads with the Hormagaunts and has the warriors behind, so the plasma is wasting its shots on Hormers, which is not very effective. Plasma does, I believe it's 50% reduced damage against light infantry, but it does 50% more damage against heavy infantry. But now there's a Thunderhammer Force Commander using his battle cry and a Dreadnought, so those guys have got to get out of there. That is going to be a pretty nice bit of knockback here from the Force Commander. Probably just wants to get out of this situation with the ASM in there as well. They might be able to get a second jump and kill this Zone Throw Up. Indeed, that is a dead Zone Throw Up. Should have retreated out as soon as he seen the ASM jumping over, to be honest. It was a good play by Piano. He used the knockback that he needed initially to deal with the melee blob and facilitate the Dreadnought getting kills, but then he's seen that there was too much blobbing from the ranged units and teleported over and really punished them. A lot of energy on him right now as well, because he's level 3 with the Artificer. Soon to be level 4. Just going to cap with the Termers apparently after CPing him to give himself some time to get the Hive Tyrant over here. Yeah, Force Commander got to get out of there. A decent Merciless Strike there, but man, we're talking about a lot of DPS. You've got Raveners, you've got Death Spitters, you've got 2 Hormers and the Warriors. It's a lot of DPS that those ASM are having to tank. Oh, and you've got the Zone Throw Up contributing too. Did those Warriors get healed up? No, they're running around in 2 models. Which I guess is fine. Mostly using them to disrupt and get the melee synapse for your Hormers. You don't need them on 3 out of 3 models. Was that a wipe? That was a wipe on one of the Hormers. No, it wasn't? No, it wasn't. Wow. They survived with 70 HP in 2 models. And now the Hive Tyrant can actually duel this Dreadnought. It's so low on HP. Emperor's Fist is clearly on cooldown. I think he just shoots it right in front of our eyes there. Oh, desperate to kill the Dreadnought, pushes in too deep. This is way too much support. I mean, come on, you're looking at Stern Guard and Tax and ASM and FC, Razorback. Wow, the timing on the Sarge there, bloody hell. Literally just came in at the last minute, but check out the requisition here for Piano. Razorback pressuring the Zone Throw Up. Razorback can probably chase down this Zone Throw Up and kill it on retreat. Doesn't need to. Focus fires it and gets the Zone Throw. Dreadnought is going to live, ties up the Death Spitters. Okay, so we're getting some nice wins here for Piano, keeping him in the game. Holy shit, guys, I didn't realize the VP situation. We've got 28 VPs for Astartes, so only 23 for Piano. That is why Astartes has been holding out for so long, but he's keeping this Warrior Brood in for way too long. Wanted to get it over to the Brood Nest where he could reinforce, but it's going to fall. ASM are going to tank. I wonder if Piano can get the red for another drop pod. Use the hero drop pod for reinforcement. They shall know no fear on the Stern Guard, going to give them some damage resistance. The Force Commander can quite easily tank these Hormagaunts here because the VP is blocking them, only like 5 or so at max are hitting it. Now here comes the Dreadnought with very little HP, but he's just here to Emperor's Fist things and stop them capping. Oh, Raveners was slow to get on the cap up here. I think that might be... Yeah, that's going to be the GG. That's going to be the GG because Piano's down on the other VP anyway. Dang! It didn't matter if they caught any sooner. He would have got the dub by capping this and decapping this. Wow. Astartes had to start throwing units there in order to stay in the game with the VPs, when really he would have liked to play a lot more defensively, but he couldn't because he couldn't wait for that kind of effects. There was no time, the VPs were going to run out. That's a shame, but that is, yeah, that's the matchup. If you can't get the Carnifexes out too fast, you're going to get wrecked by the Dreadnought. Cool to see the double Zone Throw Ups. You don't get to see that too often, and honestly, you know, Space Marines even making the win there, even though Piano messed up, and he messed up crucially twice fairly early on in Tier 2. First by going for double snipers prior to the Razorback, and then when he got the Razorback, losing it to the Zone Throw Ups with no other AV. Cool to see. Hope you enjoyed the Tyranids, folks. That's going to be all for you, boy Torpid. This time, if you want more of this content, high-level gameplay, you know where you can find it. Check out that Patreon. Torpid is signing out.